All right, we got Married to Medicine, the reunion part three. Let me just get this over with. I know I'm a little couple days late. But yeah, we leave off where we left off, where, the men was on stage doing their little thing. But the ladies in the back was listening, and all of a sudden once they get to, because they was on Gregory and I forget what the hell they was talking about, but either way, Quad bust out saying, "Yeah, y'all ushered them in, and that's the problem." And so Simone was like, "Well, nah, we had them be here because you was not here, because you was not around." That's one of Simone's things with Quad is she ain't never around. She don't hang with us. She don't call us. Blase spleet. She ain't no real friend, right? She don't tell us nothing. And she wasn't around. So guess what? We brought Greg and Sweet Tea up in the mix. And technically ushered in. I mean, he only left because of the divorce, right? But technically he never had to leave. Like he wasn't like fired or nothing. It was on his own free will. And I mean he's part of the original cast. So to me, that ushered in stuff, girl, he was here from the beginning, so technically he can come back just like a Mariah can come back, like a Anila can come back, like anybody could come back because a Carrie Wells, bitch, I been here. But anyway, ooh, I was drinking some red juice. Ooh, my tongue a little pink. You turned our back on us, so we did the same. And this and that. They're going back and forth, and they were about to be up to blows because I don't know who brought the dads into it. Because remember, Simone's dad had passed like some seasons back, and I guess Quad was not around for her or didn't give her the support that she wanted, or the only support that she gave her was only when the cameras was around. So Simone, she was starting to cry, and they yelling back and forth. I think Contessa and Toya is the ones who pulled Quad away. Dr. Jackie got her girl. She don't pull Simone to the back. She had the Sweet Tea. I don't know how she was following Simone, trying to calm her down. Like, girl, you need to be going over by yourself somewhere. Like Heavenly was sitting over by herself because just like she said later in the episode, she ain't know who to run to. Like, like you know what I'm saying? I'm stuck. I don't know which friend to go help. But either way, Jackie got Simone. Back up. I got this. She just cop your ass. Like she ain't say all that, but she pulled her together real quick. Now that's the real Jackie. I think that's the attitude of Jackie that everybody wants to see. But she did keep it professional. Professional because the cameras was still there. But reeled her friend in to calm her down and bring her back. Like girl, this and this and that. Woot woot woot. Just like Quad and Toya took Quad and Toya, Contessa, Mimi took Quad over there, calming her down. Like it's okay, this and that. Woot 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 woot. Um, Jackie. Oh yeah, she calmed her down. We flip back to the men, and they still going on talking about asking Steve, because remember this is gonna be a lot of fluff too. Um, just to stretch it to three reunions, they just had to throw a little extra stuff in there that's unnecessary. So with the dudes, of course, Steve ain't never seen four fights break out at once while they was on the trip. So that was something a little different for him. Greg fighting to the death. I mean, he what he saying King was bigger than him and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Either way, I guess he really felt threatened. I mean, obviously he tried to call the police or press charges. Whoop de whoop de whoop. Um, Greg's hot mic moment. I actually thought they was gonna spend more time on it than they did. Like they asked the fellas why they was by themselves. Um, I mean, they all pretty much told Gregory, like, listen, it just wasn't right. Obviously, but we do know you to be a good man, right? But you can't be talking to your wife like that or anybody like that. And did somebody say? maybe he possibly has some type of aggression towards women. I don't know, that he needs to work on. you know, Gregory regrets the way that everything came out and what everybody heard. And, King had to throw his little 2 cents in there. Because, I mean, listen, are we going to keep kicking Greg while he down? But, trying to say that, maybe it's familiar territory here from what Quad will be telling him about his behavior towards her, being aggressive and this and that, possibly abusive, if we want to say that. But, the pressing charges, because we kind of move on to the pressing charges thing, like maybe he kind of understand it now or whatever, but he laughed about it, didn't think it was real serious. He did go down to the courthouse to try to, I think, maybe do a countersuit or just to check things out. He found out it wasn't really too much to, it was, it wasn't worth it to try to go through the press charges on Greg or, do the same and all this bullshit. And it was, so either way, like I said, I knew the charges had to be dropped for them to be in the same room. But that security thing in the beginning, for him to be in the closet downstairs by yourself, like, dude, that was really dumb. Like, obviously, I know he felt dumb. Once he was there in it, like, dang, I probably should have just went on with the going on, just been with the fellas, because why they got me by myself? They could have had King by himself. You know what I'm saying? He the one who knew them as my friends. So can the fellas move on? Gregory and King, that is. I think they are not sure if they can move on. This was Gregory speaking at first, but King says that he can get along, but it's just Gregory just can't be talking to Quad like that no more, right? So Curtis starts to bring up that, that maybe this apology to Quad, because I think Gregory wants an apology from her. And is it necessary? Like, do you really need this apology? And Greg is kind of like saying, I mean, I kind of want it, because if I'm going to be apologizing for anything, it would be, I mean, she would have to go first. It's kind of how he see it. Like, we can both do some apology, because it was her, the one who started the mess against me. So that's how he feel. She was going against the marriage, or, disrespecting me in the way that I didn't want her to, talking too much and all this and that, right? Either way, Eugene was trying to tell him to be a man and just, like, let her have this one, okay? Like, and so, like, bite this bullet, and just, we don't need no apologies, and we just gonna have to figure it out. Which, I don't know, y'all can't be telling him how he gonna go about this, if he wanted an apology or not. He'll figure it out, I guess. He gotta figure out what's inside that he got still. What's that one little feeling left that he need to pull out? Maybe he don't really understand it just yet, for him to get all the way over Quad, and just the same for her too. Like, I mean, because 10 years or whatever, right, with each other, like, yeah, there's probably a couple strings, and they just ain't figured out how to pull them and throw them away. So Gregory here, like I said, he was trying to say, okay, fine, he can probably say sorry, but technically he not sorry. So it's weird, because they trying to go through this emotions to try to get him to comply to how the fellas think that he should do. And he really wasn't. Like, he like, okay, I can get on board, but technically I ain't all the way on board. Which is true, because y'all can't be telling me how to feel and what I'm supposed to be doing with my ex-wife, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the problem. That's what they missing with him, and how he feeling is. How y'all trying to tell me what I can do and what I can't say, and how I can or can't feel? Okay? So we're going to move on to the ladies, okay? Because Simone is tired of hearing about what they do to Quad what they ain't do, what they did, what they said. Like, I'm just over it because the ladies is back out on the stage now, okay? But the fellas, the normal setup, they sitting behind them so everybody can talk a little mess. And this is a little fluff, okay? So I'm gonna stretch it. Or I mean, I'm gonna try to hurry up, but I'm gonna stretch it. Um, yeah, so Quad, I mean, they just not sure if they can move on. Is this how she gonna keep feeling that they always doing something against her, right? So Quad is like, well, she's holding on to some feelings that she had from the past, which that Napa thing kept coming up. And I think it goes even further than the Napa thing. It was a lot that transpired from between them and Quad. Like, she was on the sister circle, she was getting more popular and, things like that, moving up, looking good, elevating. And I think it was just maybe a little bit too much for Simone to handle, right? Heavenly here decides to apologize to Contessa because, like I said earlier, she when that fight broke out, she didn't know who to run to. So it was like, well, I don't want to be in a situation where these ladies, I guess, got to choose between the two, because we all do kind of like each other and all that, but I don't want to have to do that with you no more. So I'm sorry, and I want to try to work on what we can work on and move past it. Contessa said, okay, I'm cool, I got that. The ring on Quad, is she gonna get married? There's no pressure, King said, no rush. The Key West revisit. Simone and Cecil, was they cheating with me because they got Mimi and Steve to join their team so they can win? Okay, fine. The vibes game. Well, that's what started the mess. Okay, if we didn't play I mean, we still could have played the game. Either, I don't even know. I figure either game, no matter what kind of game they played, somebody was gonna start something. If it wasn't Quad and Greg and them, it was gonna be Contessa and Heavenly, or it was gonna be Toya and something, like, you know what I'm saying. It was gonna be somebody. Curtis, are you getting anything from you getting any is you getting any from Jackie? He said, okay, he went from 0.5 to about a solid 0.5 times a week. Okay. Okay, fine, jokes. Um, Quad being all boozed up. If she wasn't so drunk, would she have I guess went for Greg that night? Um, or would she have been trashing him like that, right? And I guess I don't even know if she said yes or no, but technically that's the way that Greg felt. Like, yeah, she was attacking me and I felt like she was trashing me. And right, attacking their marriage or past marriage or him and T's current marriage. So, Sweet Tea and King. Was it Andy who brought up that they're just caught in the middle of Greg and Quad's mess? Technically they are innocent in this. They don't need to be fighting nobody. Like, honestly. But they letting everybody else around them, I guess, hype them up. Really, it's mostly Sweet Tea, because King, he ain't really been around the dudes like that enough for them to even do that. And they don't even do that anyway. But yeah, on the girl side, Toya was all up in Sweet Tea's ear, and she had that girl acting the way she was acting, like going against Quad like that. So, when technically she didn't have to. She didn't have to. Andy asks, let's see, any last words from each other? This is Quad and Greg here. Greg just says that his behavior, he apologizes for his behavior on the trip, and I guess maybe after the trip, but that it wasn't his character and he didn't mean to be I guess that aggressive with it, or it was the emotions, like I said, it's just stuff that was just still left over, so she takes it, okay, I accept your apology, whoop de whoop de whoop. And she just tells him that, look, she's not trying to make him jealous of King or nothing. She's not trying to brag and all that stuff. Is she just trying to just say that she love her man, okay? God goodness, can she be my man, my man, my man? Like, that's all she was trying to do, okay? And Sweet Tea says, okay, whatever, all that's cool. Just don't be talking about my husband. And of course, see, we go back and forth again because don't be talking about my husband. Well, nobody talking about your husband. Nobody bring him up. Nobody saying nothing about him. You know. So in the back and forth, Greg brings up, again that you was trying to cast a negative life or negative light on their marriage and all this. And quite like, no, it was T who brought up that I was trying to leave you and stuff, which, basically. But see, that's what's, if she hadn't said it, then that's why I wouldn't have popped off. I guess that's what she was trying to say. But either way, she was saying that, yeah, Greg, you pretty much was trying to get us out the group as well, and trying to one up us, and because your ego was bruised just a tad, blah blah blah, which it probably was. We calmed that down, okay, because like they keep apologizing, they be calm, but then they go back at it. So it's like, oh goodness gracious, just we don't even want to hear them talk to each other at this point. Like, please. Damon and this unwritten rule that men supposed to have. I'm a girl, right? So whatever, but unspoken rule that we just supposed to protect your spouse at, I guess, any cost or any time, whatever, and that just goes into defending King's reaction to want to fight Greg. Is that what he's, but either way, everybody can agree, that, all the men there, okay, fine, it is. But Cecil says, it's not, okay, cool with the rule, but if the, if the wife says something, like, I guess, to Damon or something like that, then she's allowed to say something, or he, like, I don't know, she's allowed to defend herself and whatever. Which is fine, but also, I guess he was just trying to say we have to consider both people's feelings in this, which is what Eugene was trying to say pretty much the whole time in defending Greg is, listen, okay, these two people broke up, but she got feelings, he got feelings, and we don't want us jumping in and like that. Like, sometimes we probably should just stay back a little bit, depending on the situation. I think that's all he was trying to say. Like, so everybody was cool, I guess, until their little disagreement with Cecil. But like Heavenly and Toya was saying, I guess everybody married is different and everybody do different stuff, okay? It is what it is. Simone can handle herself. I think that's all he was trying to say. And we all know that. Like, say, look, Simone can handle herself. And Cecil know he not supposed to jump at all times. And I think we saw that on, I can't even remember what episode, whatever he did, and she was yelling at him in the parking lot and said, nope, you was supposed to, yep, yeah. So the hot mic moment, they bring that up again. It was, because now the ladies is back out, because remember, they just asked the dudes by themselves. And pretty much everybody, like they say, everybody agreed Greg was doing a little bit too much. You probably shouldn't have been saying all that. You got to watch the way you talk to her and watch the way you talk to other ladies, okay? They also added that they probably just need to go to therapy, take a little counseling classes, do a little, just work. And they only been married for like a year now, year and a half. We still getting to know each other, stuff like that. So That's why that keep taking a break from the group keeps coming up. Because I don't know if they're going to leave or not. Like, I don't know. I feel like they don't have to. Like, they really don't. But can the four of them coexist? Greg, Sweet Tea, King, and Quad. Letitia says, yes, we can. Quad says, I mean, sure. But at this moment, the way everything just went today, nah, I don't think so. I think we just need to, take a step back, at least for what mental health and all that good stuff, right? You need to set me free, cause I wanna be me, or whatever the dang song is. Greg got the singing. We let the men leave the stage so that the ladies can, close out and do their little thing. Last minute, last words, all that stuff. And Eugene pulls Damon to the side because I don't know if they didn't continue to discuss the disagreement between him and Greg because, we just kind of agreed to disagree. But he said, you shouldn't have called him a coward. And Damon was like, well, I mean, that's what he was acting like a coward, so this and this and that. So that's why I said it. And of course, Eugene was like, well, I mean, yeah, but there could be fighting words, And I'm like, well, the way he said it technically wasn't really in fighting words, so to speak. It just depends. It just depends on the moment, I think. But he was calm in the way, he was speaking, so it was all right. But I get it. That is a word that don't nobody want to be called no coward, right? Right. But it is what it is. They over it. So, shady moments, Mimi jokes, Heavenly. Well, I don't know if is Mimi Heavenly's real doctor now? I kind of wanted them to ask, like, is this a real patient client situation, or is this a good friendship building? But since she a therapist, I might as well just ask her, a few questions every now and again to help me out. Because I don't know. Because they've been working on some things. Some more silly, dumb stuff. Simone, who could take a joke. She said everybody. Or who can learn to take a joke. Everybody. Contestants' outfits. She takes it as a compliment. Jackie. Oh, calling Heavenly fat basically because the cornbread was going to said it was going to people's it wasn't going to the right place on everybody, right? Okay, fine. Quad, I guess will go right on her, gonna go straight to her ass. Either way. Toya, no more Birkin bag parties. She actually didn't she say she had two? She does have two. Toya calling Jackie boring. And that was just because I guess she feels that she just more outgoing. I don't know. Either way. Andy, the quote game. Most of them was Heavenly's. Heavenly say something nice about T. T say something nice about Quad. I think Quad say something nice about who? Simone? I don't know. Either way, that was pretty much the end of the show. I told you it's going to be a whole bunch of nothing for the third one. That's how they always do. But either way, we will get to the next season, actually next year, because this is it. It was an okay season. It wasn't too bad. I think they just spent too much time on Greg and Quad and King and Sweetie. If they would have maybe spaced that out a little bit or focus on something else, it would have been a little bit better. Phaedra, I don't even know why they even brought her to the show. She didn't need to be here. She could stay gone forever. They probably should just expunge all her scenes like they did Kenya's and act like she never existed. We can act like she never existed. Like when they come back to next season, just don't even bring her up. Like, cause that was really unnecessary. But that was cool. Mimi, she cool. We'll see if she can stay. As long as Toya don't kick her away, because Toya, I heard you. That's what I meant to say on one of the episodes when she was talking to Quad, and she said that she didn't want to add nobody new to the group no more. She was tired of adding new people to the group no more. So that just let me know every time they had somebody new, it was Toya who was kicking them off. We could have had some good people, especially that real estate lady. I wanted her to stick around. Was it Denise or something? But either way, bye.